16.5 million views on X. A woman saying, I'll keep it simple, that she went on a date with a guy. He said, come to my place. She said, I'm not sleeping with you. He said, it's fine. And then when he didn't try to assault her, she said, are you gay? Not to him, but she was like, now I feel ugly. Like, what? I'll play the video for you. But the context here is that this woman is a comedian. And Community Notes tried claiming that this is just a joke. It's a comedy bit. She doesn't really mean she says no, but means yes, does she? Oh boy, this one's complicated. And this is where a lot of guys are starting to say some wild things. And I'll do my best to help you navigate the insanity that is this modern, politically correct dating world. Guys, you have no chance. You need to go to a church. You need to find someone who shares your values. I don't know. I don't go to church or whatever. I'm not in the dating market. But let's start by playing this video so you can hear what this woman has to say. And then we'll break it down.
Okay, I am the problem. I went on a date with this guy and he was like, it's getting late. Do you want to come back to my place? And I was like, sure, but I'm not going to sleep with you. Like, that's not happening. And he was like, that's totally fine. Just come over. And I was like, cool. So I go to his place. He respects my wishes. He's so nice. He cuddles me all night. And I'm like, are you gay? Like, what? And like, I just wanted him to like try. And then for me to be like, no, you know what I mean? I wasn't going to sleep with him. Now I feel ugly. This is what. Oh my God. Okay.
So this is the clip, right? Richard Hanania. I don't know this guy. Who is this guy? He's president, CSPI-centered.org, former UT Austin. I don't know. He says, this should be mandatory viewing for all boys on the brink of puberty. Bookmarking it now for when my children are old enough. I don't quite know what he means by that, by like every kid should watch this or whatever. But I certainly think social dynamics are important to understand. And I don't think it matters whether or not you think a woman says no, but she means yes. But I will tell you this, and I want to trigger all the feminists with this one. I remember it's like 10 years ago. It's like 12, 13 years ago. You have this like big feminist movement where they're like, no means no. And I was like, that is true. No means no. But you got to understand how no is said, right? And what I mean by that is if there is a clear indication in any way, you don't need the words no to realize you are imposing yourself or assaulting or like outright raping a woman. You know what I mean? Like if a woman clearly does not want to be with you and you are forcing yourself on her, you don't need no to know that you shouldn't be doing it. And then there's also the nuance of there are a lot of people in that they do kink or whatever it is, in which case they will tell you outright, no doesn't actually mean no. Banana means no, right? So I think there's an important breakdown in this, and I don't think you need just the no, but I will tell you this right now. Homie dodged a bullet, and I hope he sees this video and stays away from her. Now, they're making the argument that this is a comedy bit, right? So she put hashtag comedy joke NYC dating girls relationship. This is not a joke. Like, she's telling a story. Perhaps it's an exaggerated story or whatever, but this is legit how many women feel, which makes dating a minefield when you have the legal problems that we have. I don't see a simple way of navigating this. I just say, good luck, bros. Imagine this dude seeing this video. I mean, this is absolutely insane. In this modern world, imagine any guy, say 20-year-old guy watches this, 20-year-old guy watches this. And he's like, for real? Oh, this lady just destroyed any legal argument she would ever have in a court proceeding if she actually does get assaulted. I mean, this video's got 6,000 retweets. This is wild. So imagine this. Young guy watches this, and she's like, I just wanted him to try, so I can go, no, or whatever. Gugh. So now you're going to get young men required watching for this? Don't watch this garbage. Man, we need strong men. That's what we need. Young guys are going to watch this and they're going to think to themselves, wow, sometimes no means yes. This lady just said it. She said it outright. She said no meant yes. sort of. Said he wanted him to try, even though she told him no. The reason why videos like this go viral, there's been a bunch of posts. I was actually talking to my girlfriend about this earlier because I was showing her this and she's like rolling her eyes at it. Like, these women are vapid and things like that. And I'm like, there's a reason why there's no viral video of a guy who's like, I was making a grilled cheese and the guy said he didn't want it. And then, but I really hoping he was going to buy it. You know, or like I told him he can't have my sandwich. Those videos don't go viral because that's not really a thing that anyone cares about. There's tons of instances online of women saying things like, I said no, and then he didn't try. Is he gay? There are many women who actually want and expect that when they resist and say no, that they want the guy to actually make an attempt because it's playing hard to get, I suppose. And that's true. I would say to all guys, never entertain that. I mean, you do you. I think it's fair to say you understand social cues. You need to know the person you're with, but you are dealing with a minefield and there's no answer. There's no answer. All the red pill dude bros, not all of them, but a lot of them, they're going to be like, bro, you got to understand sometimes women really do want it. Yeah, okay, dude, good luck with that. Because if you hook up with this chick, you're going to go to jail. She's going to say, I wanted him to try. Then she's going to go to her friends and they're going to be like, you hooked up with that guy? It's like, I said no. You did? Yeah, I said no. And they're like, oh, okay, so he raped you. And then the guy's going to go to jail. Like, you can't, like, woman says no, you say, have a nice day, lady. Okay? Like, that's it. You said no, we're done. The crazy thing is, women like her have outright said they want it. There's a funny viral green text post from 4chan where a woman's like, I was at a mall and I looked at a guy and he looked at me and then he walked away. So then I looked at another guy, he looked at me and then he walked away. What am I doing wrong? And it's like, what do you think is supposed to be happening here? I was talking about this with the that viral video, 10 hours of walking through New York as a woman. Remember that one from 10 years ago? 10 years ago. And you got a guy saying, howdy. And it's like, I'm being harassed. There's a guy who's like, nice day, ma'am. I'm being harassed. I love how women are so offended at a guy being like, you should smile. Who cares? Holy crap. Talk about thin skin. And I'm saying most women I run into don't care at all. It's so weird to have this, like, you know what I think it is? Think about the kind of woman that is in these news organizations and is writing. The reason why you overwhelmingly get feminist perspectives is because the women who are working at these jobs have a higher rate of being, well, they're literally working women. If they're working, they have a lower rate of being, a lower probability of being moms, stay-at-home moms. So the perspective of conservative, traditional stay-at-home moms is not represented in media and social media, which it should be more. But then you get a bunch of stuff like this. I'm going to show you these comments, man. I just want to tell you this. Look, first, I think we're better off in a more traditional dating environment. These apps, this hookup culture, all of this stuff is really bad. It's bad for everybody, and it's causing serious social problems. But then you have the red pill bros who are like, some women just really want it, like we see in some of these comments. Then you have women who are saying no means no, and you know, everything is sexual assault. You mean you got Stormy Daniels now going into court and claiming that, oh, Trump was big and there was a power dynamic there and he was more powerful than me. And then you got this woman being like, but I wanted him to try. Okay, dudes, you're lucky to stay away from people like this. And how do you know there are people like this? I don't know, man. It is wild. It is wild. Richard Anania says you shouldn't be angry at the woman if you're missing the point. Reading subtext and understanding human nature are a part of socializing correctly. Wanting to make everything explicit is the trap that the affirmative consent freaks fall into. Everything makes everything sterile. I actually agree. You know, understanding what people actually like, a lot of adult activities are spontaneous. Spontaneous. A guy and a chick are like, they're hanging out, and the guy puts his arm around her, and then she moves in, and then he looks at her, she looks at him, and then they kiss. It's like, oh, there's no affirmative consent. Oh, come on. The majority of adult interactions are thoughtless. You know, people just hook up. But now we're in the Me Too world. So I don't know what to tell you, man. I got advice for you. But I can certainly tell you this. If you find a woman and she tells you no, and you're thinking like, but the social cues say otherwise, have fun in jail. Have fun being kicked out of your college because now they operate on a preponderance of evidence. Look at the whole Me Too movement. What is the answer supposed to be? You're going to tell guys, Richard, that they got to understand those social cues because you don't want things to be sterile? Sure. but you're playing with fire, I guess. Because if this chick says no, but she really means yes, like she's like, I want him to try. Let's say that guy, she goes, no, I won't do it. And the guy goes, come on, let's do it anyway. She's gonna go, oh my God. And he was trying to, and I said no. Because she wants to feel desirable. She says, now I feel ugly. What do you think she would have done if this dude actually made a move? She'd have gone to all her friends and be like, I told this guy I wouldn't, and he was trying so hard. And they're like, wow, what a scumbag. Yup, he's either gay or a scumbag. I do not see a scenario where this woman doesn't go onto her TikTok. You know what would happen? He makes her move. She makes the same video, and she goes, okay, so like, I'm telling this guy that, you know, we're on a date, everything's going good. He says, come back to my place. I say, but I'm not going to sleep with you. And he says, that's fine. And then what does he do? I get there, and he's all over me. Of course. Couldn't even trust him. That's the video she makes. Do you really think she wouldn't have done that? Wild. So then we got, there was a community note on this saying that she's a comedian. It's just a video. It's a joke. Oh, come on. Seriously? She has stand-up on her Instagram where she's doing stand-up, sure, but this is just her telling a story. I do news and commentary, and sometimes I post utter nonsense. People can post whatever they want. This guy, Echo Chamber, says, quote, I'm not going to sleep with you is the surest sign she will sleep with you. Yo, that is nuts. Richard says, right. She wouldn't even broach the topic otherwise. This is as close to a yes as you're going to get early on. Wow, dude. This is terrible advice. I think it's fair to say there are circumstances where women will say things like her and then turn around and say something else. But let me just tell you, if there's no game to be played, you don't want to be with this woman in the first place. I don't know, unless you're like a guy who wants to marry a woman like that, good luck, I guess. But I don't see how you're going to have a functioning family with a woman like that. The idea that guys online are giving advice that a woman who says, I'm not going to sleep with you is a sign she will, is the fastest way to get Me Too'd. I don't even know what's going on with the Me Too stuff right now, but this is why like a lot of dudes are just staying away. You got a lot. I would say a woman like this, she's a social addict, right? She got 188,000 followers. She's looking for that dopamine hit of getting the viral clip, and she'll take anything. Even when the dude respected her wishes, she insults him and calls him gay. You really think a woman like that, bro, if a woman like that says she's not going to sleep with you and you make a move, you will wake up in jail. And she will come out and she's going to be like, I'm a survivor. Let me all tell you the story so I can get a bunch of clicks on the internet, please. Chicago Patriot says, we can't win. You can win. You really can. And it's called staying away from people like this. Be grateful she made the video. But I got to tell you, you know, we had Fresh and Fit on the show several times, and they're like, this is how women act now. So like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, move to a small rural community, learn the names of your neighbors, interact with them, help them with chores, maybe volunteer at the local fire department, go to church, meet a nice traditional woman, and do your best to find a good person you can trust. You want to go live in the city and go to the clubs and meet these social addicts? I tell you one, I got one. First thing you do, don't meet someone on a dating app because the likelihood that they're going to be addicted to social stuff is higher than normal. I'm not saying everyone on dating apps are bad. A lot of people meet their significant others and they have a good time. But I'll tell you this, you meet a woman and you're out somewhere and I'll tell you right now, like, I don't care about the 10 hours of walking through New York as a woman stuff. Yo, if you're a young man, okay, get in shape. Eat healthy, take care of yourself, dress nice, and, go out. And here's one for you. Let's say you're 20. You got your own place, okay? It's not great, but you're making ends meet. And you're wondering, how do I go about meeting people? Really easy one for you. So you get a dog. I recommend, like a nice, friendly, like a border collie's pretty good. They're very friendly. They're very smart too, and they're not dangerous at all. The border collies are good dogs, and I would suggest you take decisions of your own volition, and don't take this literally. I'm presenting a hypothetical. I've had people ask me like, I don't know how to meet people. I go online. All right, you're to meet people like this woman who are on Instagram trying to get followers, and I don't know that you can trust people like that. Not everybody with an Instagram is a bad person. Everybody's got an Instagram. I'm saying people who are trying to build a following and get views, you don't know what they're like. If they care more about views than you, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. Not every person with big followings are bad people, but I'll tell you this. You walking on the beach with your dog, and, if you're in a place that doesn't require leash laws, then you walk with your dog. And guess what happens? People will say, oh, your dog's beautiful. Men will come up to you and they'll be like, hey, what's up, man? Cool dog. Border Collie? And you'll be like, yeah. And they'll be like, oh, right on. Yeah, I've got a German Shepherd back home. And you'll be like, oh, that's really cool. Making friends. And then young women on the beach, they're going to be like, oh, your dog's so cute. And you'll be like, hey, my name's Rick. What's your name? Nice to meet you. Do you live nearby? I live nearby. Yeah, I just take the dog for a walk on the beach. I come out here very often. Really basic way to meet people. Dogs are fantastic for that. I mean, the reality is you can just go out and walk around and smile and wave to people and go about your business. But, the dog is that icebreaker. You know what I mean? Being responsible for an animal, having a good pet, everybody wants to talk, and it's easy to meet people that way. Oh, no, the dog's run up to somebody. Hey, I'm sorry. He's really friendly. You can pet him. Some people are really nervous about just saying, hey, how's it going? In my life, I have had zero issues whatsoever walking up to men and women and saying, hey, what's going on? In fact, I made a living doing it when I was doing nonprofit fundraising. Quite literally standing on a street corner and smile on your face. You just wave like, hey. For guys, what I would do is I would walk 2 steps towards them and I reach my hand out. And almost every single guy will shake your hand. Nice to meet you. And I'd say, I got you. And then they'd laugh and be like, yeah, okay, you got me. What are you selling? And I'll be like, oh, we're here with this nonprofit. We're trying to raise money. And with guys, you treat guys differently than you treat women. But the thing about talking to women, it was never hard. It was just like, hey, how's it going? You go to school? You go to school at Columbia? And like, yeah, I do. But like, well, you got 2 seconds, right? Check it out. Here's what we're doing. That's not even an issue. There was never one instance where someone was like, how dare you talk to me? I'm being harassed. Never happens. Never happens. You got to watch out for this internet stuff that warps your brain too. You know what I mean? Here we go. One guy says, number one wife and kids haver, respecting women's wishes is super gay, guys. There you go. This guy says, that is the most scariest thing ever. It's the scariest. You don't need the most. You respect your wishes and imagine if a dude made a move and smashed, next day would be a 50-50 grape allegation because she regretted it and explicitly told you. Yup. And these guys are saying things like, you got to read the cues because she actually wanted it. Dude, the cops come and be like, did she tell you no? And you'll be like, well, she didn't say no. Like, but did she express that she didn't want to sleep with you? Be like, well, she did say that. Like, you're under arrest. You're going to prison now. You admitted it. That's it. There's no world where you're playing this game. Here's a funny one. OG says, women aren't complicated. Just never listen to a word that comes out of their mouths. Here's a funny video where it's like men and women are different. The woman steps over the rail and the man just opens the gate and walks through. But that's not fair. That's just stupid people. You can certainly say that of anybody. I think when we're looking at the modern dating world, you can see that young guys the virginity levels are through the roof. And it's like 30-year-old dudes who are virgins. And they're upset about it. And I mean, I don't know that it matters for the most part, but I think when people are stunted and you're 30, come on, like look, Seamus Coughlin, who's devout Catholic, been on the show, and we were talking about this, and he said based, and I was like, it's not based, dude. In a normal world, a 30-year-old man should have like 2 kids by now, and was married by 21 or 22. Now dudes are in their 30s and don't know how to even meet people because of weird, insane people like this. Now, let's say this woman's making a joke. You think that matters? Look at the reaction, 16.5 million views. She wanted the views, she got them. She got the controversy. So maybe it's fake. She literally says, I'm the problem. And now you got guys being like, this is how women really feel. What do you think the world's going to turn into if guys take that seriously and think no means yes? That's not a world we want to live in either. So I tell you, man, young guys are dealing with this, and it's resulting in dudes being like, I don't want to have anything to do with it. It's terrifying because of people like this. There's no answer. You go back in time, and what do you have? You go way back. What do you have? Women didn't have a say. Women were you had a lot of traditional marriage. You had a lot of arranged marriage. A lot of marriage was arranged. Here's the crazy thing, though. You go back far enough, and I'll tell you what's so crazy about it. You grew up in a town of 300 people, And there were very few kids. And the young guy and the young girl knew each other since they were little kids. From across town, a different family. You were the son of a blacksmith, and she was the son of a cobbler. Guy who makes shoes, by the way, for those who don't know what a cobbler is. I assume most of you do. And you see each other at church, and then you're getting a little older, and people, courting happens because there's not that many young people. 300 people total, including kids, meaning you're probably going to have, depending on the age of the kids, 100 adults, and each family has maybe 2 kids or more. So there's a decent amount of kids, but you grew up knowing them. And then when you're older, you have shared life experience, you have similar life experiences, you have similar expectations. The families begin to say like, hey, you guys have been hanging out quite a bit. Maybe you should settle down. And you're like 18. And your dad's like, you're a man, you're working. Maybe it's time you get married. This is, of course, 100 years ago. Now where we're at is nobody knows anybody. People grow up on the internet. They never meet other people. They're not socially interacting. I saw this post where it said that despite caloric intake not changing, obesity is going up. And the implication was that we are eating poison, that there's preservatives and garbage in our food. I don't know that I believe that. Well, I mean, I certainly do believe that. But I think the reason for obesity is the internet. You used to have to go outside. You used to have to get up and say, I'm going to go walk to find my friends. I remember I'd call my friends. He wouldn't answer. I'd walk to his house, knock on the door, and then he'd be like, oh, I was playing video games. Had to walk to go find him. Now it's text. We are expending substantially less energy, but consuming the same amount. This is changing how people interact. And internet video is warping people's perspectives on how to live their lives. Perhaps there will be a course correction. I don't know. But I'll leave it there. Congratulations to this comedian for getting 16.5 million views on her video. Because a lot of women are probably going to praise her and be like, oh, you go. Yeah, whatever. Next segment's coming up tonight at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.